from each happily ever after, every wish upon a star. Let's break down the movies that shaped who we are, from memory lane to now and everything in between. The most famous of films to the ones we've never seen. Decade by decade, all the times we laughed and cried, and with a little pixie dust, they will all take flight, reliving the feelings, and we're trying our very best. And if they mean the same to you, please be our guest. So hop aboard, we would love to have you as we hang with a certain mouth, the whole gang too. If you love nostalgia stuff, we hope this does the trick. Thanks for joining us as we deep dive the magic.
Hi, and welcome back to the Deep Diving the Magic podcast. I'm KJ.
And I'm Jeffrey, and we are back today with the 98th Disney feature-length film from December the 15th of the year 1970. That film is called The Wild Country. The Wild Country, again, was released on December 15th, 1970, is a live-action Western. We're back to the live-action Westerns. And it is based on the Ralph Moody book called Little Britches, I guess. Would you like to start us off with a synopsis or any opening facts about The Wild Country?
A family leaves city life to take possession of a Wyoming ranch.
Yep. So remember all the old films that we watched back in the day that had like Fess Parker and Kevin Corcoran and all those people? This is very much just a cut and paste of that many years later. Disney has a
Just a different town.
what was it Jackson Hole? The only reason I know that is because they talk about Jackson Hole a lot in Boy Meets World. But this is where Mr. Feeney retired to,
Okay.
in case you're wondering. But any opening facts about this film?
There are 3 members of the Howard family in this movie.
That's right. Ron Howard is in this film.
His brother Clint and his dad Rance.
And what does his dad do?
I don't remember.
His,
I can look it up
so
later, but
yeah, Ron
Ron.
Howard, the famous, way before he was famous. So before he was Richie Cunningham in Happy Days, he was on this movie. Him and his brother play the brothers in this film.
Yeah. Frank Dakova, one of the actors in this movie, loved to sit in local restaurants and visit with kids during filming breaks in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And he was a very approachable actor. So if you were to run into him, he would have talked to you and all that stuff.
So you're saying they were stretching for facts if they used that kind of fact?
No, I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you didn't, but Dan Haggerty, Grizzly Adams, worked as a wild animal trainer on this production. And during the production, a mayor was foaling at one of the ranch locations, and portions of the live birth were filmed and written into the script for use in this movie.
Spoiled.
Yep. It was filmed on location at 3 different ranches outside of Jackson Hole, Wyoming in the summer of 1969. And I'll just hit on the rest of it whenever we go through. So that way
Yeah.
I won't spoil anything.
Spoilers. All right, ready to dive right in?
Yeah, we are.
We see a horse-covered wagon traveling through the desert, through the mountains in the opening credits. They arrive to a town. The town is excited. They talk about how the coach is here. The town welcomes the family from the coach. It's a set of parents and 2 brothers who are played by Ron and Clint Howard as children. They are approached and welcomed by this guy who is their 4th cousin, twice removed, or their cousin 4 times removed or something. But he's got to go. He's got to go to Idaho. So he tells them to take care, and he leaves. I don't know why this guy was even in the film because he had to go. But the boys are trying to the boys are like trying to like adjust to the farm life. They're trying to buy the town dog. They talk about how they had to get rid of their dog because their dog was a city dog or something.
Yeah.
Is our dog a farm dog or a city dog?
I think our dog could be an anything dog.
Okay.
She'd probably be a better farm dog.
Um, the family tries to convince um so the mother right away is not into this. And the family's trying to convince her that everything's gonna be fine. It's kind of a reoccurring film. I think throughout the film she's been in a few Disney films before. Um, I'm already off to a confused start about this film. I don't really know what's going on. Whatever. They find out that they're gonna stay at this at like they find out that this is their farmhouse. And when they go into their farmhouse, what's in there? There's a wolf. There's a wolf in the new house. Want to talk about the wolf in the new house? Or the other thing in the new house?
So, how would you feel if you moved into your new place and you've got a squatter or two?
Well, so far we only have a wolf squatter.
No, you've got a squatter or two. So, you open up the barn and find a wolf.
A
It
vicious wolf.
scares you, and then you find out its owner is there, and said wolf is basically like a dog.
Mhm.
Then you find out that there is another person that hangs around with the owner
Whose
of
name
the
is Two
dog.
Dogs.
Yeah.
The other guy's name is Two Dog. And the man squatter, the wolf's owner, was sleeping
Hmm.
and he wasn't wearing pants. So on top of that, you find this dude who's sleeping in your house and he's not wearing pants.
He was sleeping in your barn.
Not wearing pants.
Well, does everybody sleep in pants?
In someone else's house. If you got to make an escape.
He doesn't know, and he said that nobody was going to buy that house, and he was surprised anybody bought it. So he obviously wasn't thinking that anybody was going to come in.
That's right. So these two guys and this wolf, they use this house as rest on their journey. Um, and he warns the new family about this land. He said that this land is trouble. People have tried to buy it before, um, and it hasn't worked out. There's a house up the hill, owned by like a local celebrity who like controls the water because um, like the river
He has a
runs.
dam,
Yeah,
basically, and there's a huge creek that runs through the property, and he dams up his part to where he has all this water, and where they have just bought this land, it has no water because of the dam. It's like barely a trickle of water through there. And the guy tells him, he's like, nobody would want to buy this land. Several people have tried. They've failed because your land's not got any water. And the guy's like, oh, there's a little water here. And he's like, well, there's a difference between ditch
yeah.
water and a creek.
There's a difference between a creek and
No,
a
he called it a
ditch.
creek.
Oh, okay.
It's a very southern phrase. That's why I giggled when he said it. He called it a creek.
I know, but I was trying to remember where Jackson Hole was.
Wyoming.
Is that really the South though?
No.
So
That's out there
I
towards
know,
Colorado.
I know, it's completely to the west. So like, why is the?
Probably because it was country people.
I guess.
Anyway.
The water's
There's a
controlled
difference
by.
between a ditch, water, and a creek.
Yeah. So the family goes about their day. They're getting ready. They're getting the farm ready. It's time for the older boy. I don't know. I wrote down their names later, but the older boy who's played by Ron Howard and the dad who's played by the guy who I said looked like um looks like the guy from the Carousel of Progress a few films ago. They need to go hunting. Do you have their names?
Virgil
Virgil's the boy.
and Andrew, but they call him Andy, is
Yeah,
the
the two
youngest one.
boys. And I don't remember what the parents' names were.
Jim and Kate.
Okay. So Dad's gonna let Virgil hunt and kill his first thing, but he almost shoots a horse by accident.
Dun dun dun.
He has to like pull the gun away so he doesn't shoot the horse. They work on bringing this horse back with them.
Well, it startled the horse. The horse then fell where it was at. So they initially thought he may have shot the horse.
Mhm.
And then when they saw the horse, they just realized that the gunshot scared the horse. It fell, scraped itself up really bad. And that's when the dad was like, um, she's with foal. We should keep her. So then they struggled to get her back home.
Yep. And the two boys are gonna stay up all night with the horse.
Hmm.
And that two dog can help the horse.
Hmm.
Um,
So the horse starts doing really bad. Virgil's gonna stay with the horse all night. The little boy, Andy, wants to stay, but mom's like, no, you're not staying. I said so. And the next day, the horse is still not doing very good. Um,
oh, I know what I do.
and the
What I
dad said
remember.
he was gonna let it rest, and then he was like, well, we've got to get help, so go get Two Dog. And then um, Virgil runs off to go find him, and he gets himself into trouble with a bear cub. He throws
Yeah.
his hat at it. Then the bear cub takes off running and screaming, and you know what that means. In any Disney movie, you've made Mama Bear mad. So Mama Bear comes out and she basically trees Virgil, and I'm sitting here thinking, obviously, this kid would have never survived on his own because Homeboy climbs up a tree. And guess what? Mama Bear's right behind him. What an idiot. Anyway, so he climbs up the tree, and luckily for him, the other guy, I didn't write his
The
name down.
napping guy from earlier without the pants on.
Yeah, he comes by, he gets him out of the tree, and then Virgil's just hysterical, and he's like, "We need two dogs, we need two dogs." And then he's like, "Why do you need him? Tell me what you need him for." And he said, "We found a Mustang mare, and she's foaling, and she's in trouble, and we need him." So next scene, we're back at the barn where the
The horse is
foaling.
graphically giving birth.
Yeah, they actually legit, like if you ever want to watch a horse being born, just go watch this movie because they placental sac and everything. It's there.
Now, I might be stupid, and I'm gonna
Well,
sidetrack us.
amniotic sac, sorry.
I'm gonna sidetrack. Oh, yeah, because our viewers they know that. Foaling?
Hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
Like birthing, but is what they call for horses. Anyway, so the dad's like, okay, well, and Virgil decides he's gonna stay and help us, whatever. Mom was helping, and then she tells Andy that he has to come with her in the house because the old country guy was like, well, while we're sitting here, can you go make us some food? And
Dude loves food. He's like the other
so
guy from
anyway,
like the Davy Crockett films that like loves film or
yeah.
loves food.
So they're like, okay, well, we need to go make food. But then the mom was like, no, Andy, you're coming with me. And Andy's like, no, I'm staying because Virgil gets to stay. You know how little kids are. And um, then Jim tells Kate they need to stay. We're not in the city anymore, and they've got to grow up. They got to learn. And then she's like, well, they don't have to learn watching this. Because so apparently she did not want them around while this horse was being born. But she never really went off to get food.
She was also
She started to help them
she's also was very vocally afraid
of Two Dog.
of Two Dog. Um, so whatever, the horse gets born. Oh, horses want to be born. Sorry. Um,
Wow.
sorry, that's what I just thought of Juno when I thought of that. And they name it like Ralph, right?
So the horse is born. And then immediately Andy looks over at his dad and he says, is it a boy or a girl? And his dad goes, it's a girl, it's a filly. And he's like, well, I'm going to name him Ralph. And then Virgil's like, you can't name it Ralph. And he's like, I'm going to name it Ralph. So anyway, you have a filly horse named Ralph.
So I just learned two things about horses today: foaling and filly.
A filly is a girl.
I guess. Um, so whatever, they're celebrating this new birth of Ralph,
Yep.
and they realize that there's lots of cows that are grazing in the family garden. Want to talk about the cows in the garden? Anything that you have about that?
Yeah, so cows come, they are all up in this lady's garden, and unlike all the other moms in the Disney movies before her, she does not grab a broom. She grabs a plank of wood every time and takes off running. Get out of my garden and with a plank of wood. Um, but she runs them off.
Yep. But we learn, well, and it breaks the fence. Like they break the fence. We learn that the cows are they belong to the man who controls the land and the water. His name is Ab.
Hmm.
Um, the father and the oldest boy, Virgil, they go to pay their neighbor a visit. They have to go pay their neighbor a visit, Ab. Uh, his name is Abcross, and he does not think kindly of his new neighbor. He is not going to change his ways because there is no laws in their town.
Yeah.
He is an old-fashioned ranch hand. There's no
I
law.
wouldn't say he's old-fashioned. I would say that he is a mediocre white man that's used to getting his way.
Yeah, in the 19 whatevers.
Yeah, he's used to getting his way. You step on his land and he doesn't want you there, he's going to shoot you.
So they end up having to leave. There's no laws, like he said. Um, that scene ends. And you know that guy that plays that was in a bunch of like older Disney movies too. He was in like Western World, the wagons and stuff.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. Um, the townspeople end up telling the family that they should just give up and they should move back to the city because
Hmm.
they are not gonna beat this dude. So the dad is like, fine, I'm gonna do things the legal way. So he's writing a letter to the U.S. Marshal, and they're
Hmm.
like, it's gonna take a week to get there. It's not gonna be quick.
Hmm.
And he's like, all right, well, I'm gonna write a letter to the U.S. Marshal. Um, and then it cuts back to the family. They're going back to the country living. They're getting the farm ready. Um, and then we cut back to the country store where the father goes in, whatever he says, Jim,
Jim.
whatever. A lot of Disney fathers' names are Jim. And he's asking like the clerk of the country store if his U.S. Marshal letter has gone in, and this Ab dude is there, and he hears about this, and they end up getting into a fist fight, a very long, drawn out fist fight.
Hmm.
Anything to talk about the fist fight before I keep going?
Um, what first, before the fist fight started, he told Kate, get everything you need quickly and get back out to the wagon. And then he goes to say something to the guy, and then when he turns away to walk away from him, the guy sucker punches him
Yeah,
and starts the
he's,
fight.
he's a much older dude.
It starts inside the store. It gets taken outside the store. It gets taken through the mud.
It happened in like a Disney movie. What movie did
They
we watch that had it happen?
are so muddy.
Yeah,
Um,
it wasn't Toby Tyler. What was the movie
I
that they
don't remember.
fought?
Anyway, um, I don't really think it ever showed like who won.
It was those Callaways.
Yeah, that would make sense.
So nobody wins this fight.
They just kind of
The
separated and walked
father
off.
Jim gets hurt and Ab gets knocked out, very much. Um, but this then makes Ab decide that he's going to close the dam, restricting all water from the family.
Hmm.
He like makes his men close out the dam. So when the family is discussing this, the father's like, "Hey, we have to do this the legal way,"
Hmm.
and Virgil's like, "No, we don't." So he takes off.
Well, at that point, they don't know. So they're back home, minding their own business. They had dinner, and then Andy goes outside, and I think he didn't go outside with his baby hawk. He went outside. He
The
ended,
hawk's not there yet.
so he goes outside and finds out because he was looking for something. He trips I think the Hulk was there, because I think
The
he
Hawk's
was.
name is also Ralph.
Yeah, I think he was gonna feed it. Anyway, so he trips, but he trips where the water should be because it was like an empty puddle hole. So he,
Jackson Hole.
yeah. So he yells for his parents to come. They come, and that's when they realize there's no water, and they realize what the guy's done. So, Virgil's upset, and Jim tells him, like you said, we have to do this the legal way. Um, Go hitch my horse or something. I don't know. He wanted him to get the horse and stuff fixed up. And he goes to grab his stuff inside. So when he comes out, he is just livid because Virgil's not got his horse ready and he doesn't know why. And then Andy's standing there just kind of crying.
He's a kid.
He's just kind of crying and he's like, Virgil's gone.
But I told him, I promised him I wouldn't tell you where he went or whatever.
Yeah. But I'm afraid for him. And all I could think was, oh dear God, Moochie was so much cuter than this kid. Andy's got nothing on Moochie. And all I could think was this entire time I watched this film, I missed the dynamic between Kevin Corcoran and Tommy Kirk. And I
No,
never thought I would
because
say
Fess Parker
that.
would be the dad, and he's ugh. Um,
I never thought I would say that I missed them, but I do.
yeah,
I did miss them. They just, I don't, and these two were actually brothers. And I mean,
they were,
I
and
don't
they're
know.
famous.
So,
Whatever. So Virgil takes off to try to fix the issue. He's going to unblock the dam himself. Father, who wants to do it the legal way, goes after him, and they're both like they're doing it. Ab catches them, and he shoots Jim, the father, in the leg.
mhm.
Ab is,
He shoots a few times.
yep, he is convinced about it. He's going to kill this dude. Um, but he gets talked out of it,
Hmm.
or maybe not. Oh yeah,
He
yeah,
did.
he's talked out of
I don't exactly know who. Maybe it was part of
Wasn't
his
wasn't
family.
the like the fourth cousin dude from earlier that came back from Idaho?
I don't remember. I thought the guy was somehow related to Ab
Because that dude's
because,
now in the film, the rest of the film.
yeah, because he had said something about Ab said, well, what would Dad have done? So maybe it was his brother or something. And he's
Yeah,
like, no, Dad would have shot him and just killed him right there,
yeah.
not just shot him in the leg for a warning.
So whatever, the dude lives. They're back at the farm. They like hobble themselves back. Um, Virgil reassures the mother
And guess
again.
who finds them
Well,
on their way back? Two dogs.
oh yeah. I was like, I don't know. I didn't
And
write
that
it
other
down.
guy. I don't know the other guy's name.
So Virgil reassures his mother again that things are going to be fine.
Yeah.
She tells him that he's grown up to become a man.
Hmm.
And then because all Disney movies have this giant happily ever after, you'll never guess what happens next. The biggest happily ever after ever, the world's biggest Disney storm I've ever seen, and a Disney tornado comes ripping through the family farm. Would you like to talk about the this way drawn out tornado?
So there's a tornado, and during this tornado, you can see it forming off in the distance. And the dad is more concerned with running into the barn and letting the animals out than finding poor little Andy. Poor little Andy is somewhere out there with his little hawk,
Ralph.
Ralph, and his little baby hawk, and all by himself. And luckily, Virgil goes finds him and takes him back into the house, and they hide under the bed while the dad is like trying to find them, and he's getting blown
Yeah, chaos
everywhere.
is going on.
Yeah, and all I could think was there is no way this is like
They're not in Kansas anymore.
no, it's not even that. It's it had to be the longest tornado scene ever, and tornadoes are just known to like hit instantly and then quickly move. and that's how they cause so much destruction. But this felt like the tornado just hit down and then just sit there.
Yep.
Is what it felt like.
My notes exactly where chaos ensues and everything is ruined.
Yeah. But trivia fact, there was one officially recorded tornado in the area in the 1980s. The tornado in the film was considered a goofy add-on by the locals who watched the film, as at that altitude and mountain terrain, twisters, by all accounts, were non-existent.
I mean, to be fair, I lived in the wonderful state that I lived in my whole life, and we had a tornado in 2011. And if you would have asked me that any year before that, I would have laughed at you. And it actually happened here. So,
Yeah, so
um, but so they're the family's bonding, and they're all.
hang on.
Go ahead.
So they finally end up somehow in a cellar, like a tornado cellar, I guess. I don't know. Because I was sitting there thinking, if this area is not supposed to have tornadoes, why do they have a cellar? Anyway,
I
so
mean, we are currently sitting in our cellar.
no, not like this.
Yeah.
This was like underground, completely cellar. So anyway, um, tornado passes. They all talk about, oh, do you hear that? It's quiet. But when they first got into the cellar, they were telling Virgil where the matches were, and all you could see is like pitch dark, and he's like on the top shelf. So he reaches up, grabs the thing, and then when he lights it, he's like this close to what's his name's head. It's like you're gonna set his hair on fire.
Foreshadowing. Um, so they come
Oh
out. They come
God.
out after this tornado. Andy says that it looks worse than when they first came there. Like everything is ruined.
And mom is livid.
Mom wants to go back to Pennsylvania, and honestly, who can blame her?
She said she's ready to go back to Pennsylvania, and yet again, we have another Disney mom that is so tired of her husband's ridiculous dreams.
Yep. So the
And she gives this long, drawn-out speech about there being nothing for them and how fed up she is with everything. And the dad just looks at her and he says, "Are you finished?"
Mhm. Because they convince her about the new life. The boys want to stay. They've done everything together, and if they go back again, who's to say that in so many years that she's
They
not going to
won't
want to
start
leave
off again.
again? So they convince her of the
But
new
why
life.
does every Disney movie like this, you have a family that moves off to the country to start off a better life, and it's always s- much more terrible than it
Mhm.
was before when they left.
Because Walt's family moved a bunch, and Roy's still alive. So they moved around for their dreams, and
I guess.
Roy and Walt's father was like the patriarch and all that stuff. So, but
Terrible.
the next day, a man arrives on like an injured horse, probably because of the tornado.
It was because of the tornado. He said that it's a good horse. It almost landed on me, but it got injured because it got blown over by the wind.
Yeah. And we learned that it is the U.S. Marshal. The U.S. Marshal has
Yes.
arrived to the farm with a court order that they had sent, and it
Mhm.
is a court order to release the water. The
Mhm.
father was right all along by doing it the legal way.
Mhm.
They all go to deliver it to Ab.
But he's also wrong for doing it the legal way.
Not yet. So they all go to deliver it to Ab, who commands his men to open up the dam. Father goes to shake Ab's hand in thanks, but he refuses and he throws the court order in the river. But the family.
They didn't know
Hold on, we're not there yet.
that they have just made the biggest mistake of their
No,
lives.
you're gonna ruin my next joke.
I'm not.
I had a whole bit.
Okay, well, go on with your bit. 2 jokes, Jeffrey.
Oh, I'm more than two jokes, but the family is celebrating that night. The feelings are high. They're singing a song about how old Jim Tanner brought law to Jackson's Hole.
Mhm.
And because Disney films are always full of happy endings, the party is soon cut short because their barn is on fire.
Of course.
This film has no happily ever afters.
Everybody dies. The end.
We're not there yet.
Just kidding.
So they are out there trying to put the fire out. They are send in their firstborn son on top of this fiery roof to dump buckets of water, kind of like when my band's van caught on fire and we were just pouring bottles of water on it. We don't know what to do. At the same time as all of this nonsense, because Disney films have all these happy endings, so we all know that these happy endings are gonna come.
Mhm.
An enraged Ab shows up to shoot James.
Mhm.
No happily ever after. Ab successfully shoots James and approaches him to finish him off, while the family is scared and they're trying to console their father. They try to stop Ab unsuccessfully, so he's going to shoot him, but right before he can shoot James, Virgil comes and he shoots Ab, just like the son from the Old Yeller, sticking the landing. The boy has become a man, and that man will one day make a very famous Grinch movie. Um, um, but after all of this, the barn is continuing to burn. Um, and then it cuts to the next day. The townsfolk are there. The barn is no longer on fire.
Mhm.
They are tending to an injured James, and they're talking about how they're going to help the family and they're going to rebuild the barn. Anything about that scene?
Mm.
We can't tell if Homeboy is dead or not because he's completely like draped over a horse, but his hands are tied, so I don't know if he's dead or
His
alive.
hands were tied up, so imagine if he was dead, they probably wouldn't have even bothered.
I mean,
Rigor
maybe.
mortis. I don't think if he was dead, they would have put him on a horse the way they did.
Um,
We've gotten so medical during this.
the family's
Amniotic statics, rigor mortis,
foil or something.
foaling.
Yeah.
Foil?
The family's animals have returned. The horses have returned, and the
Mhm.
townsfolk come and cook them food for once, as opposed to them the family cooking food for the townsfolk.
Mhm.
Things are looking up.
Yeah.
Um, um, and then the family says, "Well, you better make up because we are going to be here for a long time," which means that they're not leaving,
Hmm.
and that's the end of the film.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything about this not so happy ending Disney film?
I don't remember what the guy's name was, but um, the one that's always with two dogs.
The
He,
No Pants Napper.
okay, that's what we'll call him, No Pants Napper.
We have the Dapper Dans and the No Pants Nappers.
The No Pants Napper and two dogs.
Right.
They could be in their own rap group. Anyway, um, so he told the mom, obviously, like when he was cooking for them, that he was, since they're gonna stay, he thought that he could offer them some suggestions, which he had tried to suggest, like something about, he always would make comments about her food when she'd cook for him. And he was like, well, have you ever thought about putting a little bit of
Pig
grease or
grease.
fat in it? And she's
Pig
like,
fat.
yeah, I use bacon grease
Yeah.
in with it. And he was like, well, see, what you really got to do is put a little bit of bacon grease in there, put your little bear fat in there.
Yeah.
And she was like, and he's like, I can already tell by that face that you ain't done it.
True.
I was just like,
But the family's gonna stay, so they need to learn it.
true. I think the only thing you left out
Remember
that I thought was funny.
remember the film? Oh my God, what film was it? It might have been where the dude who's way too old to be kissing Haley Mills.
I don't know which film that
Where
is
they
because there was
like
several of them,
they
and you were
like
not happy about it.
they move to the country, they live in the Frosty the Snowman's house.
Oh, Summer Magic?
Yeah, Summer Magic was a good film, but that's also where they like they can't afford the city life, so they move into the farm and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Completely different time frame, of course.
Yeah.
But either way, so what
Yeah.
else you got for facts about
I think I
the
touched on
Wild
all my
Doctor?
facts.
All right, so then what
Uh,
did you think of the film? What did you rate us?
did we talk about when it was set?
I don't even know when it was set. It was set way back
So it was set in the 1880s.
before Summer Magic.
Hmm. And it follows the Tanner family, but not to be confused with Full House. Wrong Tanner family.
I mean, these were boys, not girls.
But they were Tanners.
But To be fair, I would go out on a limb and say that Full House would have not had the success or even be made without the success like of Virgil Tanner's success as Richie Cunningham because he's Ron Howard.
Not jumping the shark.
No, they jumped the shark. Fonzie, he jumped that shark. Literally jumped the shark. But
All right.
back to you.
So IMDb gave this a 6.2 out of 10. I gave it a 5 out of 10. It wasn't bad, but I watched it. I can't say I'll watch it again.
See, I would change one thing that you just said. I think it was bad. I mean, whatever. I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum. Like if you're a Disney completist, watch the film. It just wasn't for me.
I didn't think it was the most terrible film that we've watched. When I say I don't think it was bad,
Ron Howard's a good actor,
um, but
and he made The Grinch.
Homeboy would have never survived on his own out in the wild. He just everything bad that could happen to him was happening to him.
If you wanted to watch a worse Old Yeller, which we did, called Savage Sam, if you wanted to watch a worse Savage Sam, watch this film. At least the dad was present in this film, unlike Fess Parker would have been. Homeboy was never present. But so does this make it upon a star?
Well, the dam did not break for this to go onto my list.
So then what is your damned list upon a star?
So my list upon a star is 101 Dalmatians, The Parent Trap, Sleeping Beauty, Dumbo, The Jungle Book, Lady and the Tramp, That Darn Cat, The Three Caballeros, Moon Pilot, and The Shaggy Dog.
Yeah, so this is also not making mine. Shocker. And not because I have a strong list, just because we've watched 98
He
films.
already said it was a terrible movie. That's why
It just wasn't for me. I'm not here to tell you anything negative. 101 Dalmatians, Mary Poppins, Peter Pan, Alice in Wonderland, Babes in Toyland, Pinocchio, The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Sleeping Beauty, and The Jungle Book. But hey, let us know what you think. DeepDivingTheMagicPod@gmail.com. We are on YouTube, where you can leave some comments below. Thank you so much for your likes and your follows. We are on Spotify. Again, you could leave us a comment there. Your likes and your follows mean a lot to us. We are also on Instagram,
Mhm.
where you could follow along with our posts there. But our next film is something that's like
Something.
no, but how do I describe? So, what's it called when it's like the film, or it's the something before the big like the big milestone. So it's like not only is it film number 99, but it's also the last film of the year 1970. So we're like we're moving up a year, and we're moving up a whole big number there. Because I can't believe I can't believe that we've made it to the 70s. Now we're going to be finishing up with the first year of the 70s. From December the 24th, 1970, A Christmas Miracle. It is film number 99, like I said, and it is a film that I bet you've heard of.
Unlike Wild
But
Country.
I also bet that one of the two of us had never seen it. Point at you for our YouTube watchers. And it is a Disney animated classic. We are back to end the double digits and the films before the 100s with a film number 99 from December 24th, 1970, and it is called The Aristocats. We'll see you then for The Aristocats.
Thanks for deep diving the magic.
Bye.
Bye.